going on, everybody? It's Tax back again for another episode of Floor Seats, episode number 16. I got my man Zan with the lean. Zan's here with me.
Yo, yo, what it do, everybody? Welcome, welcome.
See you with the fresh cut. Okay.
Yeah, man, I had to do a little something. Birthday week, It's just I was like, what? It's been a couple months since quarantine, since my first cut. I said, why not? Oh, birthday, a little excuse.
Pimping in the pandemic, I feel you.
Right, man. Hey, man. Can't take a day off, pandemic or not, when it comes to pimping. So,
Those masks don't cover your you know what I mean, your scalp and everything. It's just your face. So if you ain't looking good up here, it don't matter.
That's all you got working for you. Exactly. Like you gotta work with you gotta work with your hairline a lot more these days. Right. Like that's why I was like, damn. I forgot what having a straight hairline was like. Like just cleaned up, lined up. It's been a while. So
yeah, you might have a great smile, but that mask, man, sure you can't even see it. You don't want to see your hairline.
Oh, yeah, dude. The hairline's gonna do the talking for me. I don't. Dog. Nowadays, it's not even about using your words. Like I was just like, I was walking out and about. I don't know. I told you, I said this before. I think people just been inside too long, but people just be giving the craziest eyes you walk by. Like, well, could we coming out of the gym or something, or just, as long as you fresh or whatever, dog. Like that's enough for people right now, dog. People eye you down straight up, burn holes through you with their vision.
No, I think people are just like happy to like start interacting with people again.
Yeah, I think it never dawned on people what it'll be like to cut communication from the public in the freaking outside world for shit. I don't know, 5 months, 4.5 months, going 5 months, something like that. It was like March.
Yeah. Cause like
we're in August now. Damn, we're in August.
Even I'm walking around, people are friendlier. I feel like, when I'm just walking around my neighborhood and stuff and just around my area, people, some, like, not everybody, but, some people will smile, say hello, stuff like that. Not that people didn't do it before, but I feel like it's more like frequent now because people are just like happy to be able to go outside and like see other people.
Yeah, more appreciative of it, which is actually like one of the few plus sides to it. I know what you mean. People, like, I go to a park nearby where I live. Since it's always nice out, I just go over there, park, sit on a bench and read or whatnot. And there was like somebody like walking their dog, like went past me both ways, going to and going from. Like, and yeah, like first time they're like, "Oh, good morning, you found yourself some nice shade," and I was like caught off guard. Like I was not ready or expecting to interact with anyone. Especially you would think people always want to social distance, or people don't want to interact with you just because the C virus, stay away, 6 feet, wear a mask, all that. But no, yeah, like someone was walking their dog, they were like mad courteous, say how I was doing, wish me a good day. And when they came back, they're like, have a good one, see you, blah, blah, blah. They're like, even on the way back, they're like, they still saw me there and they came by, said something, acknowledged me, and then kept it pushing. So yeah, you're right. Nah, I could definitely relate. It's a different feeling, but it's nice.
Yeah, I think in an ideal world, we'll come out of this pandemic appreciating people more.
Yeah, and I think good or bad, that's a great thing. Like you can't really go wrong with that. Like we all could use a little more TLC, and just kind of spread that around. It's not enough of it to go around. So out of everything to come out of this pandemic, and then like people going crazy inside their houses, or like having to buy hella N95 mask or whatnot, or whatever. Oh, excuse me. Whatever got people, down in the dumps with this pandemic. Hopefully, as a whole, we come out just more appreciative of each other. Uh, yeah, real rap. I think that's what counts.
Speaking of something counting, um, the NBA is back. They're all in the bubble, so the season officially started, and
Mm.
baseball's getting clapped because of the C virus. So apparently, two teams already, like the full team, allegedly, that came down with the C virus, and they they're looking at ways to figure out how to continue on with the MLB season. Meanwhile, NBA, they're all in the bubble, so they've got that controlled pretty well. Um, have you tuned into any of the games yet?
No, I haven't tuned into any of the games. I only just, of course, just peeped how excited everybody has been for the NBA coming back, the memes, the videos, and whatnot. Um, the only thing I read into about the season restarting, resuming, yeah, is basically them picking off where the season was pretty much put on pause. In those games, that was at the schedule at the time. It looks like they're trying to jump right back into the midst of things where they left off on the season, um, which is interesting because it kind of because I wonder if it's even going to evolve. Like I don't know in detail, like if there was games that are in the middle of in the middle of a set, right? Like if people who were up like out of like 7 games or whatever, people that were like up 3 games or they were down 2 games, stuff like that. Like they're gonna literally go right back into those scores. You know.
Well, so I think I know with the NBA they weren't at playoffs quite yet, but they were.
Right.
So
Okay.
I don't remember exactly how they're doing it, but I know that there's been talks about like tournament format and stuff like that, like for the playoffs, and everybody's like this might be the asterisk season because of COVID or whatever. Um, but like from what I've seen so far, it seems like the NBA had the right idea by like putting everybody in that bubble, testing them, and just be like, look, if you leave, he ain't coming back. So
That's
I,
not a bad. Yeah. She like you can't really beat that method.
I forget what
You can't come back. I
I forget
mean,
who left. Lou Williams. I don't know if you've seen that.
nah.
Lou Williams apparently left the bubble because of like a funeral or something
Oh.
in Atlanta, and then my man gets caught up being at a strip club in Atlanta. I forget which strip club exactly, but
Wow. So after the fact, so he's like, damn, I gotta go to this funeral. I gotta leave the bubble. People were like, damn, but I feel you on that. And then a couple hours later, probably after the funeral, so there was like the post funeral meetup. Was that what Magic City Follies?
no, actually Magic City.
Magic City?
Yeah.
Man, I can't. You can't knock the man for taste, yo. He made a fine selection on for his nightly activities, yo. You can't knock him for that.
Well, my man tried to because Kendrick Perkins called him out about it, basically saying he was dumb for doing it, and then he tried to call out Kendrick Perkins. I'm like, look, Kendrick Perkins is a big nigga, bro. I don't know. I would just pretend
I
he's.
don't know if pretend to take the conversation. I don't know if you want to take the conversation there. Is what you saying with Kendrick Perkins?
He tweets something like that. I'm gonna pretend I didn't see it. I'm like, listen, I'm not trying to shoot anybody, so.
Listen, I ain't trying to catch a charge. I ain't trying. I ain't trying to attend 2 funerals in
Yeah,
the same week.
you're not winning the up and up fight with him as Lou Williams. No, you're not winning the up and up fight.
Oh, so you telling him he should just shoot him?
I'm
Is
saying
what
what
you're
I
saying.
would do if it came down to conflict. I'm
If
not
it
wasting
came
anybody's time.
came down to physical conflict beyond words, if we move past words,
Listen,
out
that's
comes the strap. This is what you're
strapped
saying.
up.
Goddamn.
But yeah, like so it's just funny hearing out about like, what people are doing in the bubble and like, you know, hearing that thing with Lou Williams. I thought that was pretty funny.
Let me tell you, what is the bubble? Like, is it like a
It's
house they put like, oh, you're good, like chill here.
nah. So the bubble is like, I forget, it's a Disneyland or Disney World that's on in Florida. Um, Disney World. They have the whole Disney World basically, where they're playing their games and stuff like that.
Oh, so they're all
Yeah, they're
huh.
all in
So
Florida.
now you actually brought this to my attention. So teams like is everybody gonna be playing in the same place
Yeah,
the whole rest of the season?
yeah, they're gonna finish out their season there.
Wow. Huh. Home and away. So there's no really home and away games.
Apparently, last I checked into that detail, apparently like teams were able to ship their court over there, so that way like technically you could have it like with your
Say
team.
ship a court?
Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever seen them like, especially like at the Garden where they switch between like Celtics games and then like hockey games.
Yeah.
Court is actually in pieces.
So okay, I get that, but they literally were like, well, let's like, but I would think like I don't know how that process looks, right? So I would just imagine like the floorboards or whatever are kind of I thought they're like still in the floor, like even though they peel them back for like the hockey ring. So you're
Nah,
telling me they're sending like boards of like basketball pieces of a basketball court to Florida with
I
like
think some
teams
teams
there.
can do that. Yeah, because
Huh.
these pieces of Florida, like they're heavy. You
That's
know
what
what I'm
I'm
saying?
saying. That's a lot of shit. That's a lot of shipping, dog. That's
Yeah,
like
but they have a lot of money, so there's
that's a
no
lot
reason
of.
you can do it. And if it's
I'm
just
just
sitting in the basement at your home court doing nothing,
doing nothing. Yeah, no, I mean, hey, no, I mean, power. It's all for the NBA spirit. I guess it's just yeah, it's just things I never really wrap my mind around. Like they'll just the shit they'll do to trying to get things going smoothly. That's interesting. I'll say the least. That's interesting, though. They should really shipping floorboards of all the of teams, different teams in the same spot, so they can have their games. I'm for it.
yeah,
I
they have
just never. No,
like
no, go
right,
ahead.
like right now. I'm taking a quick peek at like some highlights real quick, and like they have Black Lives Matter on the court, um, and then from there, like the presentation is actually pretty solid. Like right where where the free throw line is, like in that little circle, like
Do
where
you
you.
have it up? You could throw it on the. You could throw it up.
I'm not trying to get clapped by the NBA. Keep it a
I
bean.
get clapped.
um, but basically, it's they have the shot clock on there visually, and then like the team logos. Like I think they're just putting the logos temporarily there instead of like the whole court. So they have that like in the bottom towards the middle. The NBA logos in the dead center. And then from there, the players are sitting, but then there's also like a virtual background of crowd there too. So then you could use the NBA app to cheer for your team or whatever like that too.
It's a virtual. Is it? Wait, are you saying like? Is it like virtual background? Is it just like a screen for?
Yeah, it's like a screen. So like
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's like the player bench and stuff like that, and they have more space for like social distancing or whatever. Apparently, like other teams can come and watch your stuff as well, which is cool. I mean, everybody's quarant like has been checked for it and properly screened. Um, but yeah, and then like behind them, there's like like a virtual. There's like a screen with like a virtual crowd and stuff, and then with the app, baseball has the same thing. Like with the app, you can make a cheer or boo or whatever.
That's that sounds dope, but I hope the internet trolling doesn't get out of control or like people don't like. That's the one thing. Every time I think about internet and just the internet, and then giving certain privileges or giving little add-ons, things like that. That issue really is cool and gives the interactive feel for the diehard fans. But like, can you imagine someone just like mess with this? So it's just like constantly just booing or it's just boo, hey, boo. It's just like I hope it doesn't affect. Does it affect the players? Like you hear it, like
So that I don't know. I don't know if the players can hear it. I mean, I would imagine to an extent. But I think that would come through on the broadcast.
right. So that's I feel it would be. It's uh more so for the people.
I feel like the players should be able to hear it. It's not like, and it'd be relatively tame. Like booing happens and stuff like that. It's not like the boos are gonna be like racial slurs or nothing.
Yo, you could pay for the
But
exclusive package. You could customize whatever insults or stuff you want to say, and they'll just out there just broadcast it for you, dog. That would be ridiculous. No, I mean, I hope it is that. I'm just saying, like, if they made it so that um basically someone could just like create a beat or something, just like it's just straight booze or like not like that. Like people can't do something crazy that'll like distract players from the game. You
no,
know.
I don't think that would be a thing. Also,
Okay,
if you
yeah.
look at this, you can really tell like about the tile thing, um, because you get like they're not zooming out to get the big crowd shots or anything. So now you can really look at the court and see that like it is tile based. You know what I mean? But these are heavy ass tiles. Like those, they're not going anywhere.
All I know is someone's gonna be putting in overtime when they've got to be constantly changing these tiles. No, I'm saying I feel bad for that person. That's it. I mean, I hope
Well,
they're getting paid for it
so
well, but
it looks
shit,
like they only got to change a couple because like like where the team
the
logo is, like
logo.
it's a home game apparently for the Lakers. So there's like two Lakers logos like in the bottom center, and like those are a couple tiles they can switch like fairly easily. So I think they'd be all right.
No, honestly, I think it's definitely a dope compromise.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think we might have even got sports this, back in this year. I honestly was not sure if we were gonna get sports back,
Oh,
but
I don't know about football. I don't know if we get football, but basketball, golf.
yeah,
Uh,
golf didn't get crazily affected like that. I
nah,
thought
they
golf
they
was.
social distance as it is. Like,
Yeah, we feel as if it is. It's like, all right, then I'll just be like, just wait a minute, just be a minute behind me now, and then we good. That's convenient for that. I mean, shoot, the golfers' paychecks didn't really take a hit, but shit.
yeah, tennis. I feel like we can still get tennis. Might not be no doubles. Well, yeah, I mean, doubles could still work. It's only like four people, but
I mean,
I want to see if we get hockey this year.
I see hockey as being possible. There's already glasses is around between the crowd and the players, so like I can see hockey possible. Yeah, I just don't know. Obviously, they'll let. I feel like yeah. I guess it's more so the spectators. Like they just won't be the spectators. Um, is going to be different. Crowds are going to be different. Like I've seen MMA fights. Um, like I watched some MMA fights. Like since the shutdown and the quarantine, and it's just an empty arena. It's an empty arena with only the fighters in the ring in the arena, and then there's the commentators.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not the same. You need the people, man. Like
it's
certain
different
things in sports,
though.
you need the people.
I feel like even in like I know like Joe Rogan, since people who know him also commentates for UFC. Um, he made a good comment. Like it's different where it's just like you hear everything, you can like you're only just focused on the fighting in itself, and it's just complete silence, and like you just hearing like the blows and like like yeah, you're just hearing them scrap, and like even watching it, it's kind of like yeah, you do feel the tension. You feel a little more of the tension. I feel like a lot. I feel like the crowd makes it exciting. Every little thing, uh, like the slightest thing could set the whole thing off and have the arena like erupting, right? But then
Yeah.
you get into the like you get into the nitty gritty when when some of these fighters really be going at it, when they really be scrapping, and then you're just like, damn, I think it just creates a more like appreciation for the sport itself, or at least in the martial arts, and then the fighting. I feel like those who watch it more for that, or just like get a get their kicks from that. Like I feel like now it's just like, oh, this is probably the ideal way you want to watch UFC and like watch these fights. It's different, but it's interesting though. Because I mean, hey, I only recently like really got into watching UFC more, um, and then now seeing some of these. So I'm watching either old fights, and then what new fights I'm watching is quarantine.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see how everything turns out, but it looks interesting so far. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Yeah, man. No, it's good that we're getting sports back. I think that it'll definitely help with people's sanities. People who could have something else to watch, to do besides going through cycling through their lists on their Hulu's and Netflix accounts. Like just like I don't even want to go into like what Netflix is like top 10 category lists will be looking like nowadays. Like people really be bored, yo. People really be bored on what, and it shows in what they're watching. Like, yeah, like we could go into that, but we won't, because we got actually other topics we want to get in today. Um, and starting with this TikTok ban, especially since we spoke about this before in our past episodes. Um, basically, so there's been more news about the TikTok ban. Um, especially with Trump, really, really pushing to ban the app, and I think he's really set on having the app banned in the states. But what that actually will look like, um, is Microsoft coming into play here, and actually taking control TikTok, uh, at least for the states, are yeah pretty much becoming acquiring TikTok. Like they're looking like the company's gonna divest, um, which is pretty much forcefully, legally, whatever, passing on control and operations uh, to someone else, which looks like Microsoft in this case. I mean, how you wanna approach this? Because I know last time we were just talking about the fact that um, the whole primary concern with TikTok ban in the first place is U.S. data being at risk, given that it's gonna go to some server in China, and they might have access to a lot of people's data because of the things they agreed to on the app, the terms and agreements. So, um, yeah. So just going off of there. For those who's listening in, uh, the TikTok app looks like it is primed to be banned. Um, but what is your take on this tax? Because yeah, I'll let you
Honestly,
go
like,
first.
I don't really care for TikTok, so like, when we talked about it in a prior episode, which I don't remember which one exactly.
We don't got that many. They could find out. Those listening, they could find out if y'all care so much.
Yeah,
Y'all can
my
find
my
that
thing
episode.
is like
Shoot.
a new app will come, like regardless. Like this is like yeah, like oh, if TikTok's banned, guess what? Like something else is gonna come to fill that void. And like in the case of like you know, having a brain heart for you. In the case of
I
like the
feel you.
data thing, like bro, like someone's going to get our data. You know what I'm saying? Like I just think it's hilarious that people are in such an uproar about it. Like people are panicking. People are just like, "Oh my God, they're taking my happiness." I'm like, well, like we need to evaluate how much power we give social media. Like,
Hmm.
I think it's ridiculous that like there are people having full on meltdowns about you know an app.
Bro, don't let me go in on it. Like, you know what? Yo, yeah.
I,
Yeah,
I,
no,
I
keep saying what
seriously think like this generation is just like super soft, man.
you're saying. Yeah.
Like this app isn't anything crucial to your livelihood. It's not like like if Trump was like, "Oh, I'm banning like vegetables," then it's like, okay, that's like something I
Whoa.
need to live. If
Hold on.
Trump's like, all right, I'm
That's
taxing
when the straps coming
water,
out.
but like
That's when the straps
an
coming
app,
out.
like there isn't Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, all these other apps that do the same thing.
No. That's what people are. So, like, I mean, I get, no, like, I think we said this before too. Like, I get it. Like, there's people who have their livelihoods tied to the app. Like, people make money off the app. Whether it's ad revenue or they have partnerships or exactly like, um, they're influencers, right? But I think in this day and age, like being an influencer, once you have that following, I think it should be part. I mean, it comes. I feel like it's part of the job, or it comes with the territory, knowing how to adapt to these type of changes. And I mean, I don't know why my arms just keep disappearing,
No,
but basically, it's just like, yeah, like you're right. There's so many apps, other social media apps. There'll be another. They should just try to know how to. And a lot of the content like that's on TikTok, it's like it could go anywhere. Like it's not like, I don't know how to even. I don't know what's a good example of like very niche like content that pretty much really thrives on only one app. Like look at Instagram. Stuff on Instagram could still go on YouTube. It could still go on Facebook. It could like Snapchat. Like even, yeah, like it's all inverted. Like they all invertedly go hand in hand. So I understand if there's people who's just like, man, I made my whole career off TikTok. Oh, like, like I get it. I don't get it, but I see where you're coming from.
well to
I
that
don't
point,
use
right?
TikTok either. I don't use TikTok at all. I don't care for it.
Well, to that point, right, Pete. So
Right.
Vine happened X amount of years ago. King Batch made his whole career off Vine, and then what he did, he's like, "Oh, this is going away. I'm going to guide my followers elsewhere and continue to make money based off of my success that I created there." So to your earlier point, it's like you're doing it wrong if you're solely dependent on this. You need to diversify your avenues in which people can interact with you and you can generate money. Like, yes, you can
My
have a
hand is
TikTok,
still
like
disappearing.
get a
There we go.
Patreon, like set up a Twitch, like sell some merch, have other social media things, because at the end of the day, like the problem you have with your with TikTok going away is that one, you don't own the platform, and two, you do not own, like you don't have the contacts of the people that follow you. Like imagine like, someone like Ryan Leslie where he was like, yo, I'm gonna put my number out here. You guys can text me and stay up to date with like everything that's going on with me. Like, so no matter like what happens, like if Twitter shuts down, if like Spotify shuts down, all that stuff, he has a means of communicating to his fans and getting them their product, like getting his product out to them. And that's what like these people aren't doing. Like if your livelihood is on TikTok and you're concerned about TikTok going away, then you're doing it wrong. Completely wrong.
Oh my. Hmm. That's actually really interesting. Like, I don't know TikTok that you said that you can't follow. how does TikTok work in a sense that like you as a user find another user who you like or whatever and you want to like follow them? Like what happens? So how does that interaction work?
No, it's the same as like any other app. Like you can find people, you can follow them and stuff like that. But the point I was saying, like with King Batch, is like, all right, when he knew that you know,
Vine was gonna
Vine was going,
was phasing out. Yeah.
yeah, he found a way to migrate. He either prior to it or during the time when he found a way to migrate his audience from Vine to his other platforms, like to follow him on Instagram, on Twitter, on like Snapchat or whatever else. And then using that leverage of having a massive audience on multiple platforms, he then
Right.
springboarded into other stuff like Wild and Out and stuff like that. So like that's what I'm saying. Like if you're like so concerned about this one app going away, it's because you're not doing the social media game correct.
Right. No, no, that's it. Shoot. And the thing is, this isn't even part of the conversation I wasn't even expecting to jump into. Like, I think overall, yeah, it's just uh being flexible, being adaptive, like being able to adapt. Um, yeah, like for a lot of if for TikTok users who are really like their audience is really vested in TikTok, um, yeah, that actually sucks in the sense that if you don't know or yeah don't know how to move or redirect your following, I mean that comes with the game. That's social. That's the social media game
Yeah, like
to
TikTok isn't offering anything different than any other
anybody
social media
else.
app. Like there's nothing it's offering different.
Like that's why like that's why I'll be on IG and then I'll watch IG videos, but they'll be like TikTok videos, or just like in the end they'll be like, oh, this is I guess this is a TikTok video or it's on TikTok, and then you realize I'm just like, dog, like take away like the following, like the huge audience is just like and the logo, like what are these apps? Like they all generally do the same thing. They all more or less do the same thing. It's just packaged different, and it's like it's so yeah. Like the fact of the matter is, I think for that front, on that front, for what was it, the Gen Xers, Gen Zers, the people who what was that? What was that? Because there was a TikTok influencer that was like she blew her fuse when hearing about the ban news, for the platform. Like, yeah, she was like losing her shit. I can't remember
Yeah, but I don't
her
even
name
care
was.
because you're furthering my point. It's like
Facts.
I get that, like, TikTok right now is, explosive growth. Like one of my good friends doesn't have like a great following on Instagram, but his TikTok following is like ridiculous. So I'm like, my advice to him is like, all right, guide them back to Instagram, guide them to somewhere they can like listen to your music, or guide them to like a Twitch because they watch him play guitar on TikTok. So I'm like, there's so much you could do. Like you could set up a Discord for this crap. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you need
Like,
to like if you're this is why it's like, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for attention? Like, what are you in it for? Because regardless, it's like, even if you're just in it for the attention, like, you need to know how to sustain that attention. If I'm in it to make money, I need to know how to sustain it to make money. Even if that shuts down, you know, what are my other options? How do I reach my fan base? How do I reach my super fans that'll buy stuff? Like this isn't stuff that people are thinking about. They're just crying because TikTok's gonna go and not thinking that, hey, you know what, like the next app is going to come because someone's
well,
gonna
yeah,
find that void and wants to fill it.
exactly. So either the next app's gonna come, or what app is gonna be offset? Is gonna offset. Is gonna take the offset of those users from TikTok. Uh, you know, and where they're gonna go. And I mean, again, let's dial back a little bit. So basically, about the app, uh, the ban per se, it might actually just come under uh, Microsoft might just take over like operations of TikTok in the states, where they'll be in command, or they'll manage the data and stuff like that.
I don't know
That
if I want
the
Bill Gates to have my
information.
data, but Then again, I'm not using TikTok, but
Right. So then it just goes, it just trades hands. So like I feel like what the real issue, the thing is here, why, well, the one point I want to, you know, excuse me, yeah, the one point I'm trying to make here, or just kind of just get it out in the ether, is basically it's just one company is trading hands of the platform to another. So it's not like your data is really what's up for discussion. It's just who has the data or who's
yeah,
in charge of it.
that was my
Um,
earlier point too.
this was, yeah, and this that was our point in our last video. It's not about per se, like, there, yeah, the concern is not for you, the individual, or for you guys. This is more concern for, you know, who is going to be has access to this information and stuff like that. It's not necessarily like, dang, I care about uh Sweet Sally 16 user, like Sweet Sally 16 TikTok users data ending up like that. It's not about you particularly, in particular, for those who, um I think like there's some people who need to hear that. It's more so like all this valuable data information, they don't want to fall in the hands of China. Like what? No. Who knows what they can do with that data? I mean, true enough, who knows what they can really do with it? But the fact of the matter is, they just don't want China to have it. Because even for TikTok, I just learned it was rebranded, it was relaunched. It
Yeah,
was Musically before.
yeah,
I never knew that, and like I was just like, so TikTok really isn't new. It's like it's just rebrand. It's Musically rebranded, and I remember Musically seeing ads for that, and then I was just like, yeah, not interested. No wonder I was probably not interested in TikTok, but who cares? But it's just like, I think it just should put people's perspective into basically the whole ban in general. I don't know. I just say my 2 cents is, um, don't be I say be more interested in what, if it's about the data, who's basically going to be in charge of that data, which looks like it might be Microsoft, but it looks like the talks were put on hold. That's the article I'm looking at here, from the Verge article, since they had some of the most recent things. But just for basic information, um, yeah, it looks like they're putting the talks of acquiring TikTok on hold. uh, Microsoft is. And uh damn, brain, yeah, just had a brain fart myself. No, just basically, I think, you know there's definitely more important factors here that's not being talked about really. But of course it's gonna go over a lot, not say go over a lot of people's heads, because people are too focused on, oh, I won't be able to post this video, or, I'm like, this is about people's data. This is basically about, which is money. It's like assets right here. But yeah, nah. I think, I don't know. What else you got to say about, for the TikTok ban?
nothing. I think we wrapped it up pretty nicely.
All right, true enough. All right, no, you guys let us know what you think about the TikTok ban, of course, in the comments below. Um, yeah, and this, to keep it simple, what do you guys think? Is the ban warranted? I think India, they had other decisions with the ban. There was more news with them, um, but
Yeah, I
is
think
it
they
saying here?
actually banned it in India, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. I think we did talk about it, but there was even more. There was follow up news, about the ban. Either the ban was, if it was like lightly lifted, or if it was like a soft ban. Like there was still more discussions, like dialogue happening. Um, but honestly, this is still in the works. I'm actually surprised, like how forward things kind of jumped since the last time we reported on it. Um, yeah, so we're gonna hear about this again for sure, and we'll let you know what the final verdict is gonna be, and what happens with TikTok, and if you're gonna need to hold on uploading that video, for whatever dance that's popping on the app right now. But in other news, Let's keep the ball rolling here. We got a jam packed episode today, especially with gaming content and music content. So let's get right into it. Don't want to, for the sake of time, no further ado. First up, let's just cover over a few announcements. Um, Mega Man live action movie. I just decided just to say it, you know, just forget trying to come up with a tangent or a segue. There's gonna be a Mega Man live action movie in the works. All we know, all I know, because it was like San Diego Comic Con over. It's like last weekend, but it was streamed. It was like done at home, you know. Um, so it wasn't as I feel like it kind of went over a couple people's like radar. It kind of went under the radar. I guess people are just like tired of virtual events when you're not able to go to them. But basically, San Diego Comic Con still happened, and one of the couple announcements that were made that I heard about was there going to be a Mega Man live action movie. Kind of, you know, try to ride the coattails of the Sonic movie. I think that they're really attempting this because think about it, just another retro, super popular like protagonist of a video game from the what I would say from the 90s that peaked at the 90s and carried itself into the obviously in 2000s kind of fits the profile Sonic did. So what do you think, Tax? That is Mega Man trying to ride that wave of just like, wait a minute, if Sonic could come out with a live action movie and do well, we can too. That's what Capcom is trying to say.
I think Capcom should focus on putting out more Mega Man games than trying to do a live action Mega Man. Even the Sonic one, it was cool, but it wasn't like amazing. Like Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey,
Jim Carrey carried
and
part
like
of the film. Good
there were
chunk.
good parts about it, but it's not something I'm like, you know, running quickly to go see or like again or something. You know what I mean? Like it was cool, but yeah, like I don't think they're gonna do it very well. Um, I want like Mega Man ZX3 or like Star Force 4, like or just like
It said Star
another
Force
Mega Man
4.
X. Like, why do you guys keep
Keep
no?
playing these games.
Yeah,
They
like or give me the Star Force and Battle Network collection or something. Like, I don't care about this, yo. like,
I know. So even a collection, yeah, no, even I'm surprised there's still not a Star Force collection.
bro, they could put all the Battle Networks and all the Star Force in one collection.
Shit, all the battle networks? Yeah, I would want that. I never played 1 and 2. That's a 1A. I have no interest in playing 1 and 2. I seem, I mean, I feel like Battle Network, I feel like everybody has started from 3 and above. Some people said 2 was great, but I'm just like, whatever, buddy. Um,
Yeah, I heard two,
yeah,
all
that
right.
would.
But,
I,
three is
huh.
a good place to start.
Yeah, 3 is really the place to start. No, and I agree with you. I honestly agree with you. I say like for the love of the character, don't do it. I don't know. Well, see, I want to hear even like I feel like just entertaining the thought of the movie is a mistake in
They
itself.
put Jim Carrey as Dr. Wiley, then I
I
feel
was
like
gonna say that unless they get Jim Carrey
just
to
have Jim
be
Carrey do
Dr.
them all.
Wily, do every video game villain from that decade, from that time period. That'll be nasty. That'll
You know
be
what?
disgusting. That means
Actually,
also Dr. Wiley. I
I
could
think
see it. That's the crazy part.
I might even be interested if it was like Mega Man X
I
because
feel
I
like
feel
it's gonna be
it's gonna be
Mega
original
Man
Mega Man.
fighting the fighting. It's the fighting robot, bro. It's the fighting robot.
Yeah, but X is way more like I feel like they're gonna try to reach for like a kiddie audience or whatever, but like X would be a cooler story to go with because it's more serious.
That's what I'm thinking too. Like I don't think it's gonna be. It's not gonna be for the core diehard Mega Man fans. Like, I think it's gonna have like Disney esque, like Pixar. If it was Pixar esque, if it was Pixar that did it, maybe it wouldn't be live action.
Did you see like the cartoon that they were doing on Cartoon Network?
Nah, only know the old ass like Mega Man cartoon from back in the day. I think you know what I'm talking about. The super fighting robot, Mega Man, the fighting robot. Yeah, that's the shit. That's the only shit I
Yeah.
know from. I mean,
Um,
of course, there was like Battle Network, but then later on, EXE,
yeah, it was
um,
on Cartoon Network. It's Mega
GT
Man Fully
Warrior.
Charged.
Is that new? Is that recent?
Started in 2018 and ended in 2019.
That's very recent and short. That's
Yeah, it
pretty
was
wow.
52 episodes.
2 episodes.
No,
They were
50.
testing the waters.
No, 52. 50. 50.
52.
Yeah.
I never heard of this. Whoa, bro, you about to scar my
Nah,
vision,
just don't look into it.
bro.
Nah, it's bad. I hope they don't go that direction.
Oh dear. Oh dear. I wish I never knew. Why did you tell me this? Why?
Well, I told you not to look into it, and then you did it
Too
anyway.
late. You should have just opted. You should have never told me this existed to begin with. Oh, like fully charged. I mean, who knows? At some point, I feel like I might have came across this.
Yeah, but you deserve to know not to look into this.
Fuck, it's too late. I got caught. I got. For those listening, unless y'all trying to get got, don't. For those who already know about it, I feel sorry for you. Um, yeah, I guess we could just feel sorry together because now I know of this existence. Um, damn. Yeah, I'm gonna stop scrolling. Is that Cut Man? Is that supposed to be Cut Man? Yeah, I'm not even gonna screen share it. Like I said, I don't think it's something that I don't want to take that decision out of the hand of viewers. You need to make that conscious, decision yourselves. If you're really serious about Googling Mega Man Fully Charged, if you don't know about it, this man out for 52 episodes. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Don't. I really hope it doesn't be like that. I really hope. Like I strongly, strongly hope it doesn't end up like this. But it's a live action, so there's even like the bar because it's just the bar, and it's like Sonic. They're able to pretty even for the movie, like you said, it wasn't like super like amazing. It was just a good movie, and I was like, they just
It
didn't
was
mess it
cool.
up. They just really didn't you know they just didn't yuck it up like other movies. I don't know, like Dragon Ball Evolution, which I never seen. Avatar: The Last Airbender live action, which I also never seen. Like shit like that, But I guess in this case, it really does come into games. Um, shoot. Uh, you know what? I'll say this. I'll say this so that because we'll leave it because there's not much news really. But I'll say this: we depending on how that Monster Hunter live action movie will come out, uh, I'll make a judgment on how Capcom will handle this, which is a terrible scale. But there's already another live action Monster Hunter movie they already were working on, and there's even like some clip. There's like a short clip of a part of the movie, and even the premise is kind of loosely like uh, the premise of the movie is pretty much like figured out. Um,
One live action movie that's supposed to have been in the works for a grip, which I would like to see. I feel like it really could work, is Metal Gear.
I know you're gonna say Metal Gear. You know what I think? For Metal Gear, I don't think it should just be done by they should just have like a good studio and a director take care of it and make it like like a really good military like sci-fi um war movie. Like shit. Like I just don't see. Like I just like man. Like Kojima. Like I don't. I'm trying to think if Kojima had still had say and like how that movie will turn out.
I'm sure they would consult him for it.
I don't think that's enough for me. That's the thing. I feel like they'll consult him just to know his ideas and not implement them. Like they'll do it to spite him. I don't like.
Nah, well, not the movie studio because I forget all the details about Keep It the Beam, but I remember reading somewhere that some like a director was working on it and like talking with him about it, that kind of stuff. But
Right. He knows mad. Yeah, Kojima is connected. He's plugged in. He knows mad heads. Like for a game developer, he's very connected.
my man's on a whole nother level, bro.
Yeah, no, like I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Like people come up, they're like, "Oh yeah, Kojima, we sit, chat, talk like all the time." Like I'm like, my man just casually just be chilling with like directors, producers, like Hollywood. Like people know him. Like he's known. Like don't
Yeah.
trip. People know Kojima. What are you about?
Um, but while we're on Metal Gear, really quick, on the PS3 version of Metal Gear Solid 5, they finally got the Chapter
Yes.
3 ending, which is the peace ending, where all the nukes got disabled.
Just which I remember you saying that came up. I read that too, and I was, which was crazy because I remember we talked about it. I don't think it was on this podcast. It might have been another podcast in the past, another timelines, whatever. But how there was that achievement that was never that was wasn't hasn't been achieved if everybody disarmed their nukes and like the premise of just like basically everybody will just have to disarm the nukes. And even the article, I'm pretty sure you might have said the same thing. How much it said, how many nukes were on PS4, like that were live at the time of the article, was still mad high. It was like over like 50K, but only like PS3, I guess, is like it has a smaller base of players. I guess they only had like 52 nukes. So I don't know if it was because it was much like the requirement to get them to agree, having everybody like, all right, disarm everybody, let's everybody disarm the nukes was more easier to achieve, but it was done.
Yeah.
Um,
So apparently, um, there's a website um, for like the MGS5 Nuke Watcher. Apparently, there was 63 on PS3, and those all got disarmed. Um,
okay, I remember it was around, I thought it was around like 52 or something.
nah, a PS4 had like 2,500, but those didn't get disarmed. And Steam has like damn near 20,000.
Oh, is it Steam that
Yeah,
has like?
Steam is wild.
That's wild, and
Yeah,
that's the internet. Like, that is the internet as a whole. Like it's one thing you're on PS4, but like Steam, like you're dealing with like you're dealing with like trolls of trolls. Like that's why I'm like, like I don't know if we'll ever see it this time on Steam. That's not just being pessimistic. That's just the internet. Like there's always gonna be that one guy who's like, no, I'm not gonna disarm my nukes. Like, or like fuck it. But who knows? I think it's be too hard. But it was done on PS3. Did you check out? Have you seen? I didn't look at the video, but have you seen what the cutscene is like?
yeah. I've seen it. I saw it years ago when it like got data mined or whatever.
Ah, you saw that? Okay.
But basically, it tells you the date and time, and it says like this world has been rid of nukes or whatever. And Miller's talking to you and all this stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, it sounds too good to be true. I'm trying to think of like, can that happen in the real world? Yeah, not too sure. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy because like people still had to go through and actually the nukes were disarmed on your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, they knew. They knew. They're like, it has to be this day. No other.
But
That's crazy. That's dope, actually.
what happened was
Huh.
people had to go through and steal nukes from other people to disarm them and shit.
You said so it wasn't like they had everyone come to an agreement. It
No,
was just
some
like
people were inactive and had nukes on their base and they had to go steal them and stuff like that.
I see. Like okay, because there's that as well. I
I
mean,
never created a nuke in the game. I've always wondered, like, I never played enough to get there, I guess. I might boot up my, well, I beat it on Xbox and PS3, I mean PS4, but maybe when I boot back up my Xbox, I'm like, what's up with these nukes? How you making nukes?
I didn't make a nuke. I know. Right after you hear about the disarmament, damn, that disarmament sounds kind of cool. I kind of wanna have a nuke. It kind of makes me wanna have a nuke. You gotta go and start that shit all over again. After all that work for disarmament, all of a sudden you see one blip. I'm like, wait, who's this? Who's this with a nuke? Damn tax.
Yeah, man. I thought that was a interesting, thing to talk about. Granted, we didn't dispose of all the nukes on Metal Gear Solid 5. God knows how long it's going to take. It took 5 years for 63 nukes. God knows how long it'll take for
Don't
20,000.
even wanna. That's what I'm saying. 20,000 or 20,000 on PC, and I think that'll evolve a lot of. I think they'll be evolving a lot of stealing of nukes, and I don't think the player's gonna be disactive. I mean, like inactive. You know what I'm saying? Like if they want to do that, you need to steal like mad people's nukes to disarm, inactive or not. That's what I'm saying. Like shit. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know why I'm mad pessimistic when it comes to in game. Like in games, I'm just like people are the worst. I have way more hope for people in real life than I do in games.
Yeah,
Like in
people
games,
don't
people
think
are
there's
like, nah, people are
concept.
just degenerates. I'm like
There's
people are
like
just
no concept
degenerate.
in the game.
Yeah, like you just degenerate. I'm like I expect all degenerate behavior. Like it's the internet. It's just degeneracy. Um. Uh. Damn. Well, I mean, you heard it. You heard it, folks. Look it up for yourself. All the nukes on the PS3 version of Metal Gear Solid 5 are disabled. Um, hopefully, I feel like maybe what? I guess if it was on 360, then what about 360's nukes?
Oh, I didn't see anything about those.
I feel like
But
that'll be next. If that hasn't been done, it'll be literally older consoles. Um, this is funny. It's like two gens consoles that was like 2 gens ago. It's about to be 2 gens ago.
yeah, they need to. I still want to, you know, I still want to create one of my own, but I'll disarm it
You
after.
gotta fuck it up for everybody. You gotta make that one. If someone's like, "Yeah, now I want one," someone's gonna be like, "Dang, that's a nice nuke you got there. I want one too." And then someone else is gonna make a nuke, and then it's just gonna start the trend.
Well, cause I don't know if it's like an achievement or something you get for making it, and then you can disarm it.
True.
I think you have to make it and then disarm it or whatever to get the achievement.
So like, yeah. So then what happens? I guess what happens now on PS3. So then what happens when if people start making nukes again, or did people go back to making nukes
Oh,
again?
I don't know.
See,
I mean,
that's what they don't tell
they got
you.
so they win. But
It's just like what they don't tell you. But honestly, I think it's dope. I just found that it was really cool because we talked about it before, and they were like, "Damn, I don't think we'll ever, like it'll happen organically." But it did. It did on PS3. So shout outs to the people who came together to do that. Um, that was dope. Especially if you're one of those people who's watching. Shout out to you. Uh, all I gotta say is, yeah, get to work on the other accounts. Speaking of nukes and military, the U.S. Army. for some who may know, they recently, not too long ago, I would say about 2 weeks ago, they were streaming on Twitch. They opened an esports channel on Twitch as a way to grow out their esports scene in gaming and recruitment. Um, I'm trying to remember if I ever mentioned this when I went to PAX, but I'll save that. Basically, the U.S. Army, they have a Twitch channel for esports, and to reach out to viewers and for recruitment, join the army. Basically, they got into the habit of banning users. I don't know even if they were like subbed or if they were subbed or not, or just any user period who made comments about war crimes or just like in the chat they were just kept asking questions about war crimes, and the channel as a response banned any user who mentioned anything or mentioned or just try to ask like, oh, say at like Twitch Army Esports or whatever. Like, oh hey, so what about do jet fuel really do melt steel beams? Like shit like that. They'll ask like about war crimes stuff. And the channel will just ban everybody. It got into a problem because you really just can't be banning everybody willy nilly, especially if you know Twitch. Twitch is the home of degenerates, honestly. So you just gotta expect the trolls. They're everywhere. They're on the internet. Um, so I guess the U.S. Army, even Twitch, kind of addressed the U.S. Army a little bit on that, and they were like, "You really are not in the right for banning viewers um, under that just for that reasoning alone, because it got out of hand, and eventually they had to close down shop, and they just closed the channel down altogether, and then AOC." Uh, was it Alexandra? I have to say her full name. Um, I always mess up her full name.
I
Yeah,
forget.
Alexandra Ocasio Cortez. Um, you know, the U.S. representative is motioning to go after the U.S. Army for using Twitch as a way of outreach, and just trying to have them, uh, just keep them from using it again. Um, I agree. I agree with that. And I just say with that statement because I interacted with the U.S. Army esports team when I was at PAX this year. Um, before I get into that, I'll let you go first on this tax. Let me know what you think about. What do you think about basically the U.S. Army first having a Twitch channel for the sake of outreach and recruitment, and yeah, banning users just for mentioning or asking questions about war crimes.
Um, I'll start with the banning part. I thought that was a little corny. I'm like, they seem to be a bit out of touch with Twitch to entertain it that way. Like they could just like ignore it. You know what I mean? Like someone doesn't have to moderate that chat. They can just let it rock. Like once you get once you have a certain stature with like your notoriety and stuff like that, trolls are gonna troll. Um, so you could just kind of ignore it, just let it be or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's better to ignore it than to take action because then people are gonna complain about that.
Right.
As far as the outreach part, I don't think Twitch has any right to ban them for outreach and recruitment. Like you run their ads, you take their money and you run their ads like every 15 seconds. So I'm like, it's wrong for them to make a Twitch channel and recruit through that way. But it's okay for them to pay you to run their ads that recruit as well. I'm like, I'm like, it doesn't make sense. I'm like, there's definitely some hypocrisy in it. And then
Yeah.
like, if the U.S. Army wants to ban people from for trolling or asking questions like that, then it's still right as a content creator to do that. I mean, Twitch is banning people for dumber shit.
That's Twitch though. I feel like Twitch is like, yeah, but that's us. We get to make that call. Like
Yeah,
the
but then
army can't make that call because it makes because yeah, it's just gonna make because it's like yeah, they're a content creator, but then Twitch is like you're a content creator on our platform. Because
yeah,
like whatever you do is gonna not only look bad on you, it's gonna look bad on us because they think we're giving you guys the ability just to ban them just for talking about asking about war
well,
crimes or
well, the
whatnot.
reality is you are giving them the power to do that. You're giving anyone the power to do that by giving them a channel on your platform.
True. I mean, I
Now
feel like
people
doesn't Twitch
abuse
have like a guide, like a criteria, like to getting banned? Like, can a content, can someone
you can ban
like
somebody for any reason you want on your channel.
any reason?
Yeah,
I mean, not like a timeout. I feel like a timeout, sure, like, but you could just like you could say ban them, and then Twitch is like, why? And you're like, because I said so.
it's your channel.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, I guess. I mean, I feel like they do because I guess I don't know. It's like how the Twitch, how I guess is Twitch's way because it makes me is interesting then because then what makes it interesting is how Twitch approached the army. I actually want to look this up then and actually find where I was, what is that was when I was reading this. That's how they
Yeah.
approached the army about the bans in the first place. They're like, yeah, you kind of can't really ban people for that, but like you're talking to money. They're talking to their partners. Like they invest in Twitch's ad like for ad space. Like so, it's not like somewhere where it's like Doctor Disrespect. They're like, oh, get the fuck out, like that type of
Yeah,
shit.
They banned him from Twitch and didn't even. I don't think they even told him why.
They didn't even tell him why. A lot of people don't even really still don't know why, and it's so uh and it's kind of crazy that, like you said, like they Twitch could do those things, and don't have to provide a reasoning. I mean, like you said, it's their platform, but um, yeah, I just feel like the way that they are handling the way the U.S. Army is the esports channel, and I think for one, I should just want to start. I think for recruitment reasons, I don't think it's legit. I don't think it should be used. I don't think they should have the platform access for that reason. If they want to keep it around gaming, sure. But even then, it's still suspect because it's just the fact that like when the army recruiters came to your high school, right? Like they talk to you like oh hey they talk to you whatever. Like how old were you?
Oh shit, probably like 17, 18.
Right. And then what's the average? Can you imagine what the average age or like what's the youngest age someone on Twitch could be or just to view?
I counter that by saying there's far worse on Twitch than the U.S. Army recruiting.
True. But then that's something that we always talk about when we hold Twitch to the accountability. But I feel as though the way with that's true. But at least with that type of content, it's like they're not enticing. I said, well, besides the Simps, like they're not enticing you to do something. Like with the army, I would say is like your audience ranges, right? And I think it ranges to people who don't know that don't have like full like thoughts of their actions. I mean, of course, someone that's 12 can't sign on for the army because they're not old enough to sign, have to be 18 or whatever. But at the same time, you just put in those seeds early, which again, I'm saying there's nothing wrong with the army, but it's just I don't know. It's just the tactics around it. It's kind of like, hey, I'm using candy to pull kids in, and then like it's kind of just how yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
Here's my thing though, right? As a cognizant human being, or even someone that's not, I'm not stumbling upon the Army's Twitch channel if I'm not interested in it. Like, I'm not just gonna like, you know, part of it is on the onus of Twitch because then like they promote channels like the Army and stuff like that. because the army shells them X amount of money to
Explore
run their
money.
ads. But then if you go on the explore page or whatever, and then you see the army's there, well, partially it's on Twitch's fault. And of all the other things that influences you, like I'm not going to the army stream because I don't personally care for the army, but maybe they're playing a game that someone else might be interested in, and instead of going to all the other prominent content creators, I just pick the army. I don't know. You can't. I I feel like Twitch is being like a super hypocrite, and it's just like, all right, there's so many, you know, game developers that are have Twitch streams for the sole purpose of influencing you to do something, to buy their product. You know, there's so many Twitch streamers that put on a persona, like as the girl next door, with the sole influence of getting you to spend your money with them. And then the army comes along, and because they're banning people about like for saying stuff about like war crimes and stuff like that, all of a sudden Twitch has to have a stand towards it. I'm like, you're not like if it makes you, and it's weird because it's not even like if it makes you money. Like the army definitely puts more money into their pockets than than a lot of those streamers that are on Twitch. It's just they're
Yeah.
trying to be political for no fucking reason. Like it's
And
the dumbest shit ever. It's like, oh, we're gonna ban the army on Twitch, but we're still gonna run their ads because we still want their money.
well, I want to say they banned. Sorry, yeah. So you're right. No, like that in itself, that's a good point because like
Or go against the army more so. Maybe not ban, but like, we're gonna reprimand the army or whatever. But I'm like, but you're still gonna take their money. If they decide to pull their money out, then what?
because
Not
here's what
granted,
I'm
it's
reading,
backed by
right?
Amazon, but still, like,
It's because yeah, it's because then I feel like there's some details to put out there just so people have a better grasp of um oh yeah. So if people went off. Like there's because that's the thing. Is maybe it's the army. I feel like the army should have in itself did its research going into Twitch, and knowing the audience, and not just thinking, oh, this is a good place for a potential online recruiting platform. Because like I said, I did meet the army. Meet like I went to the U.S. Army booth at PAX. Wow, I think the site I'm looking at is a picture from the booth. At PAX this year, and gotta talk with like a couple of their people from the team, like people like in the army part of like the esports division that they're building up because it is still something new that they're building up. So there's something there in that. I think there's also they're new to this realm, and I think they need to do their homework. um but I think at the same time, if the army wants to, uh, go about their recruitment, that's fine. But it's just with the platform, uh, I'm just not sure because it's just like how the age of people that they could reach, and the fact that I mean, I'm pulling this up here. So what was the issue? Really, was just like the army was imposing on like people's First Amendment, basically violating people's First Amendment rights, basically only allowing people in the chat to speak if as long as they aligned with like the army's views. Like it was saying like there was users that was just like they wrote like they'll at chat the um the army's Twitch page, and they'll just be like, oh, what's your favorite US war crime, and then they'll post like a Wikipedia link and stuff like that, um from like WikiLeaks or something. So, like people was being trolls. But I think how the army handled it was it was just not right. And I think it's just overall them being on the platform um still doesn't sit right with me. There should just be, if anything, it should be a limit. Uh Probably like age. I'll probably just sort of by age, like, put a mature rating or something, so that people only of a certain age that they're more cognizant of, you know, decisions or the lingo that the army spits. Because no matter what, when you speak to someone from the army, is what I was saying with the the packs, it was just like, it was cool to talk about gaming, but at the end of the day, everything always, competition always leads back to recruitment. It always leads back to recruitment. And that's the thing about it. I think that's my big takeaway is like everything is about recruitment for them. Like they don't do anything outside of recruitment. Like I think it's cool that they started Twitch trying to connect with people, but it's in itself for recruitment. Is that bad? No, but they don't hide their uh they kind of do, but they don't really hide their intentions. So if they're going in and the Army's known to be aggressive with recruitment, and I know that from school. Even when I was at PAX, like even after it's like, all right, finally have a wholesome conversation, and eventually, even with friends, it came up like, oh, what do you guys do? And always the same spiel about recruitment. I get it, they have to do it, but hey, it's just not for me. If you're in the Army, I'm not trying to say anything about you, but it's just at the end of the day, they're just about recruitment and the ways they should go about it. And there should just be a little for Twitch. There should be a little rules about it because, especially, they put money in the platform, so it already makes it kind of weird to me, you know.
I don't know. I'm kind of the opposite because it's just like at the same time, then game developers shouldn't have one either because like I think the problem people are hung up on is like recruiting for the army, but then like if you look at it this way, like game developers are recruiting for you to purchase their product. Um, like there's always some kind of call to action, no matter what. You see commercials for all this kind of stuff, like you know, for and Twitch is like kind of hypocritical in some sense because like you can get banned from Twitch for drinking, but then there's all these Bud Light ads that come on Twitch because they're sponsoring stuff or they're
the
sponsoring.
Miller High Life, the stars. So crazy. It doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
No. Yeah.
so
It does not make any
it's
sense
just
to me.
Twitch being Twitch at this point. Like it doesn't even surprise me. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, we
No.
don't want to, we don't like. So the problem a lot of people
Never
have
thought.
is like, oh, you may be influencing people to join the army. I'm like, okay, but imagine I'm the 12-year-old watching Alinity stream, and then a Miller Lite ad comes on. Twitch is responsible for that.
Yeah, they are, and they know it. It really does. I think that's where it really does come down. It really does come down to Twitch. And no, you're right. I mean, no, you're right. It really does come down to one organization making a proposition for another. I mean, is one thing is because I feel like I guess it's just what it comes down. What is it you're selling, right? Is what you're selling. I think for me, it's just like it's just like all right. Uh,
I just honestly, because I don't want to go too much into it,
yeah.
but to be honest, I think if we just weren't in such like a politically sensitive climate, this wouldn't even be a thing.
True, and I agree with you there, and I think he's which Twitch's practices in itself needs to be looked at because yeah, they don't allow. uh that's really weird. Yeah, it didn't really dawn on me. Yeah, they don't allow drinking on stream, but they'll have they'll run Miller Lite ads as they're partners. Coors is partners with Twitch. They literally partner with them to throw on events uh to support like the moderators. I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think we were saying that was the High Life All Stars or whatever. It's like, oh, for the people who for the mods who don't always get acknowledged because they wear capes too. And I mean, I appreciate mods. Mods should have appreciation, but it's coming from like a liquor company that the platform doesn't allow. And I mean, it's yeah, like it's just uh you're giving special privileges to companies that you already have some type of alignment with, which is like yeah, like you said with that, like that's what I have like with the army is just like there's already like a relationship there, alignment that needs to be highlighted, like like yeah, you're giving them a platform, sure, but like look at your own practices and Like the favoritism makes you look like hypocrites.
Bro, Bud Light has a Twitch channel.
Like, I think that's the bigger message. I think we were trying to get. I think the bigger message we're coming on to now. It's just not. You're right. Like that. How I have my own personal feelings with the Army, just because how they're aggressive their recruiting tactics could be. Especially, I'm like, can I imagine someone that's like 12 years old and younger, just stuff like that, and I'm just like, that type of influence different. Like you're making one thing to buy something, but you're making someone's like you're making life decisions at that point. Nothing against it, but be at the age. But no, I think overall as a consumer, um, yeah, maybe we really do need to look at Twitch overall as a whole. Like, yeah, Bud Light has a channel, but I can't drink on. Wait, can I drink Bud Light on stream?
I don't know.
Can I drink Bud Light on Bud Light's stream?
I would imagine. I mean, that's part of the reason why Academics got clipped, because he was drinking on stream and stuff like that too. On top of the Chrissy Teigen rant and stuff like that. But
on top of the Chrissy Teigen rant, I was waiting for that. No, that's crazy because I know I've seen streamers. They mentioned like they're saying like they're sipping on something. I mean, they don't have like the bottle out, like they don't have like a black label bottle out, but they'll have something in a cup, like a red Solo cup or a plastic cup, and they'll, if it could be see through, it's just like rum and coke or whatever, whatnot. They'll have something there. So, like, man, like I feel like this. I feel like I went in this topic to kind of bring one thing to the table, and then it just ended up bringing a bunch of other things. That we just don't have the time to kind of go into. Really, I think. I mean, last takeaway from this, yeah, I think Twitch. You brought on a good point. Twitch is hypocritical, in how they treat channels that also happen to be their own partners or throw money at them.
Hey, bro, keep the same energy.
Yep, real rap. Yeah, yo. So I mean, shoot, you let us know what you think. Especially if in the comments, especially if you checked out, you tuned into the U.S. Army Twitch channel. Let us know, especially if you have, and let us know what your experience was like in the chat and or the stream overall in the comments below. Moving on, this is actually a nice topic to hit on before we transition into music in a little bit. So over just the other day, I'm trying to think, was it Friday or Saturday? Was it
Friday or like Saturday early afternoon?
Yeah, I'll say Saturday early afternoon.
No.
It was
sorry. It was like Saturday early in the morning, because Japan's on different time. If you're talking about what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I say for us, it should have been at night. It should have been at night. I think it was like early in Japan. But basically, fighting game roundtable, which was pretty much a online. Think of it as like a big Zoom meeting with a bunch of different Japanese fighting game publishers and developers, all in one room virtually. Just pretty much going over and talking together as a whole, addressing the issues of fighting games, as a community, which was something that was like, I think in itself it was a lot bigger. The idea of itself was that it even happened is a really big thing, I think, for like, especially in these times, for developers to kind of come together, put aside their business rivalry. Whoa, can't talk. Whatever, you know what I meant to say. Put aside their differences and kind of come together and kind of talk on issues that they all face as a whole. Such publishers, I'll throw a couple out there, like Capcom. So we have there's Capcom, Arc Systems, Bandai Namco, Arika. They even had Arika, who for the game. Oh my god, I'm blanking out on it.
Fighting EX layer.
Yeah, Fighting X Layer. Uh, they even had their team, someone from their team. Who else am I missing from? Because they had Street Fighter. Tekken was represented.
Arc System
Uh,
was there. Bandai Namco.
which yeah, they make a chunk of the games. Pretty much, the people that represented a lot of Soul Calibur. So if you're into Soul Calibur 6, Tekken 7, any of Arc's games, ranging from Guilty Gear to Blaze Blue Cross Tag to Dragon Ball Fighters, Core Street Fighter. Basically, all the devs were there. One of the big topics that was brought to the table, just to go right into it, was online play, because this is what basically the community is talking a lot about right now. Is they took time. It was about 2.5 hours, the whole event. They put a lot. They spent the first half of the event answering questions, and a lot of them, because there were questions from users, different like Twitter, basically the public. So, and anyone who wants to talk anything related to fighting games with the devs, and you have a chance to, you're going to bring up online gameplay, online connection, basically net code. And I don't think it wasn't pretty. I would say, just to give you my 2 cents real quick, for that portion of the stream, like I went back, look at the archives. For that portion of the stream, when it came to netcode, Harada, for those who don't know, is the director the director for Tekken under with Bandai Namco. He did a lot of the talking. He did a lot of pretty much being the figure, like the spokesman for like all the devs almost. Like I think he was willing to take a lot of the punches and throw it like for the devs when it came to I say defending themselves about reasons about why netcode isn't where it needs to be or why isn't where it's supposed to be. Because it feels like time and time again, netcode is always brought to the table and discussed or talked about for fighting games as being a real pivotal make a deal breaker basically for a fighting game, and basically how the community will react. And I don't know. It sounds like we as a whole, when I was at least I was watching, I learned some things about the process into designing fighting games around netcode, from the dev's perspective, like issues when it came to budgeting, like Harada wanted to say. He's like, people don't want to say it, but we have budgets. Like, he's like, budgeting is one thing. He said, some people say it's expensive. Um, things like basically if the other companies that they're working with when it comes to like third party companies that come into play, is it compatible with them, is there issues with running with them, blah blah blah, list goes on. Now we pretty much, I say we want to start there because that's pretty much where the conversation was divided when they brought up this event. So pretty much, let's start about netcode. Did you peep? So you peep what they said about netcode? Zach?
No, I didn't.
Well, basically, like I just said, the devs, on behalf of Harada, a lot of it was saying like, it's something we look at. We definitely want to look more into. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't want to chop it up to see, like, it sounded like they were kind of ducking, making excuses, because that's what it did sound like. Actually, that's some people in the community. When after the fact, people in the FTC, when they commented on the fact that they really didn't, it feels like it's something that they haven't really seriously taken into account for the longest. And I think people they really just like had enough, because they're like, there's really no excuses you can make, especially in this time, especially in times like these. Netcode's real is basically a deal breaker. Like, you have the devs who they'll say like, yeah, we notice how good a game will do, over time pending on the net code, and we'll see like over time, despite how the games launch, how good the games launch is, we'll see a decrease over time in players and player base because of like depending on the online play, like the net code. Like they'll say all these things, but not really propose like solutions to the net code. Even when like rollback net code's been thrown around like constantly. Um, yeah, pretty much, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, especially for Americans, like netcode is so important because we are like a million times bigger than Japan, and arcades aren't as dominant as they are there. They have more of like the in-person social interaction. Where with us, we're an internet dominated like society where you know niggas just can't get up in Montana and then go to their local arcade and get like meaningful matches. You know what I'm saying? Like
Facts, yo.
not
Like
everywhere
it's
has arcades. Arcades are
we
dying.
wish. Nah.
Arcades are dying because of the it's like goddamn
Goddamn C virus.
nah, because it's just internet online play. Well,
Yeah.
not even just that too, but like since the console released, like like niggas is like, yo, why am I gonna keep dropping quarters to go to this arcade where I could just buy Street Fighter 2 on my Super Nintendo? Like, so like we're different in a sense where like net play is a bigger deal to us. Like it's not like arcade cabinets are dropping in America like that. Like the only place you'll find an arcade cabinet, if that, like mainstream wise, it's like your Dave and Buster's and stuff like that. And they're not putting fighting games in there. Like,
Mm-mm. And even if you do, you'll see some like you might find like a gem, you might find like a retro fighting game, but like you like point to you no to your point, yeah, it'll be like a retro fighting game. Whereas in like Japan, like they'll announce like new fighting games or new games coming out and the date release of the arcade machine for their arcades.
yeah,
Like
they test new games in their arcades and stuff.
yeah, like they use the arcades to actually test and drop things, whereas like in the States, arcades are like more like vintage. They're like when you like if you go into an arcade or you see like an arcade cabinet or somewhere, like whether it's your laundromat or you go to Dave and Buster's. Well, granted, Dave and Buster's they might have like more newer arcades, but chances are anywhere else it's gonna be something old. You might find like it'll be like Pac-Man, it'll be like fucking some pinball machine. Like it'll just be a lot of older, more retro games because that's like how America views arcades. Like arcades to us is a pastime, where Japan is present. It's still a present time thing. Um, so I think definitely a cultural barrier. It's kind of big. I think it's been a issue a lot. I mean, over the years, but now it's like more gaping. It's more noticeable. Like even like Ed Boon, who works for like Mortal Kombat, uh, even like on Twitter, he made a comment like after the roundtable, like around the time everyone was discussing the roundtable, and even he chimed in and he was saying like, like in honesty, he was just like net code and net play when fighting games are a really important thing. Like I don't even want to mince his words. Like I really let's see. Let's pull up his Twitter. And I'm just pulling up here. Yeah, rollback code is tough but necessary in fighting games. Like he said that like he brought it in, yeah, 31st. Yeah, he brought this the other day. So it was around the time the roundtable happened. And he was even saying like, even went on to say like the Neverell tech team did an amazing job at putting rollback code in Mortal Kombat XL, made all the difference in the world. So rollback code again, he said it's tough, but it's necessary in fighting games. Like like I feel like here at like N Boom, like Mortal Kombat being under Warner Brothers right now, under an American company, like we say something, like it's not gonna eventually he's like, I get it. Like he heard us. Like I think like especially with Mortal Kombat, we always talk about as a fighting game, listens to the community. Um and he took it into consideration, and I think boom, people express like, yeah, like it's better for it. And I think I think that's a disconnect with Japan. They hear us, but there's the cultural like disconnect where it's like uh there's a cultural disconnect, really. And people honestly feel as though like for them to wake up, like they have to learn the hard way of investing in their net code. And people think it's gonna happen with like things like Project L, like the Riot fighting game, for them to like to put them on their asses and really be like, yo, like you're really about to let a mobile company like really take fighting games out from underneath us. I don't know. You give me your thoughts. I do wanna get back into the round table overall. But netcode was pretty much a big chunk of their first hour of talking. And
Well, so to that point, like with the net code, we had the Street Fighter thing where like, someone on their own did a patch that helped improve the net code. And then Arika came out and said that they're rolling out rollback net code for fighting EX layer. Um, so not that it can't be done. Sure, it may be a bit expensive, but games like Street Fighter, which is supposed to be like the premier fighting game to most people, have no excuse. Like you're selling so much money on like costumes and all this other stuff like that, but you can't put any money towards the budget towards the netcode. But you can put out more characters, but you can't improve the online experience.
yep. And that's what people. And that's the thing too. That was a lot. People was like, I really. Because the other thing, right? So, uh, just to, I'll just round off what the stream was like, because like I said, the other half of the stream, I wouldn't say other half, I would say the last like 40 minutes, um, I would say give or take like 30, like around like 40 minutes, you have the stream. They made announcements, and a lot of the announcements were just announcements for announcements. Like
Yeah, like
companies
Street
really did
Fighter.
not have things ready.
So Street Fighter announced they have an event on the 5th. Somebody else did too.
Uh,
Um,
I
announced
wonder
that
if it's
they
the
have announced.
Bandai Namco, if their online tournaments
Yeah,
for Tekken.
I mean the only one honestly that like pointed in the direction of like, all right, of improving is Fighting Layer EX or Fighting EX Layer. I like calling it Flex better than Fexel, but they said that they're going to do the rollback net code. They're implementing that, and then they're working on like crossplay between like PC and PS4. Everybody else is just like either their tournament series, like Arc Revo is going online for US and Japan, and a few people announced like new more season passes like Tekken season 4,
Mm-hmm.
Sam Show season 3. Soul Calibur announced that they're releasing another character or whatever. But
Oh yeah, Setsuka. I remember
yeah,
her name from like older games. Yeah, people are really excited about that. So shout out to the Soul Calibur community.
but
If
I think the important thing about the whole thing is really the net code. Because I mean, like, you know, how do you intend to run these online tournaments in the foreseeable future if your net code is trash?
Yep, that was no, like I said, that was in ooh, there.
And it's not like Nintendo where they're like, Nintendo's not putting any investment into their online, the competitive scene for Smash. So like bad netcode is just it's whatever with Smash. We just have to accept it. But someone like Street Fighter that you know, Capcom, Tech, and all these other developers who are making the investment into the tournament scene, and with COVID-19 going on, they need to make the investment into the netcode.
Nah, real rap. It's just a really it was just a weird conversation to see that was taking place. One because it was being translated by like Jayuna and like it was like another like I guess he was like a Tekken player, someone from the Tekken community. So it was like two translators, and I feel like, and that's the thing too. It's like I want to hear not a thing I'm a fan of because I know people when they're translating they gotta be courteous and whatnot and real considerate. So I feel like there was a lot of like short changing of what the devs were talking about or what they were saying. Um, and I don't know. I want to see what more direct translations were like because they were just like, oh well, this is so they're like generally they were like generalizing a lot because
Yeah,
they're like, oh, basically, what this person was saying, or they're like, oh, more or less, this is what they were saying, like, and I know what their job is to translate, commentate, and also maybe keep the peace and not make the lovers look bad. Um, but I think in these times, like you're talking to people who's been supporting these communities, these companies for years and for a long time, and when it comes to netcode, that's the one thing we've been asking for years. Since like we want a good netcode since like Street Fighter 4, you know? Like Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4 was like what, 06, 08? Like when 4 Street Fighter 4's inception? Do I
yeah,
want to get the
nine,
exact
nine.
date? So, and I mean, and to try to say money was an issue, and like I know Horizon, like, oh, we have budgets and whatnot, and then it's just like people was like, nah, that's not an excuse. Like them fighting herds. What do you think their budgets are like compared to yours? And they implemented rollback netcode. Like there isn't an excuse. People yeah, a lot of the FGC they weren't having it. Like their comments after the fact, they're like, one, I don't know how to feel about this whole stream as a whole, because like I said, it was like first half was discussion, answering questions, which was like ran by Harada. He kind of took the forefront on that because he's a little westernized, so I feel like he was like he has the balance um, to kind of uh, voice people's concerns from the devs that they themselves may not even feel comfortable saying, or he's like speaking on their behalf, and also the fact that he understands more like the West, like people from America, people in the States. He understands that he's been out here a lot. Um, Although I still think that they're not hearing or not fully uh, understanding the fact that we just want rollback netcode. Like netcode is gonna keep us playing your games. Like that's really what it is. Like I mean DLC, all this other stuff, all you want, but if the connection is trash, like it's trash. Like people are, like you said yourselves, are gonna eventually leave the game, leave the scene, leave the community, and just like stop playing the game. Like because of connection. It has happened, it still happens, and it will continue happening. And I think even past that, right? And then we go into the announcements. Some people were like, the announcers were soft. Like, what are you?
Yeah,
Did
those
you?
announcements weren't anything crazy to be honest. Like I read the
Yeah,
recap and I was like, eh. Like the only thing I got excited for was Arika because I actually want to get the game, and I feel like with them having rollback netcode, it would make me want to play it.
even
Um,
more.
oh, also, with Arc Revo because I'm still pretty good at BB Tag, but I've been watching a bit of Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, and I kind of want to get that too.
Oh, word! I have it. I mean, we could parsec it up, and then yeah, I could just put it on for people. I know other people Karma. I think Karma wanted to play it as well. Um, yeah, if you want to try the game, Parsec, I got you on the
Got the
copy.
DLC.
Huh? I got first season DLC. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I'm gonna be a Jita main.
Who?
Jita.
My girl, Cheetah. Oh yeah, yeah. I see you as a Jeter player. I can see that. Actually, I really could see that. Wow. Yeah. Wow. And she's so
Yeah,
good too.
I've been watching
Damn.
people play on Next Level, and I was like, I kind of like how she plays. There was somebody else that like played too. It's like I think she was also DLC. Is this chick that had like a dragon with her?
Oh, yeah. Zoe.
Yeah,
I played when I was playing. I played a lot of Zoe. That was the character I was going with. 'Cause I was playing Sora's, but Sora's is like the Balrog, but he's not that good. But yeah, once Zoe came, I was like, yeah, I found my character. But pretty much, right? Great games, ask Netcode. Um, that's pretty much what everyone's gripes are. And with the announcements, right? Like I think this roundtable, it felt like it was amped up to be something, and it felt flat a little bit. It really did feel flat for me. Um, as I was going through, like I went back, watched the stream, and then eventually I was just found myself skipping because a lot of what they were talking about, yeah, it was cool, but it was just like again, they really were only mostly just talking about like a lot about online, just about online play because with them not being tournaments right now, and I heard a lot of the same, and I just don't think it. I don't think it should fly. Like, I don't think that should fly. One, that's the one thing for their like kind of do like their AMA portion of the stream. And then for the announcements, like okay, like Setsuka for Soul Calibur, that's cool. So you know what? That's cool. I mean, the online tournaments, I feel like that was something we were going to hear about regardless. Like, I think I'm like, cool. Like, I don't think they needed that type of stream for that.
yeah.
Um,
I find it weird that they announced online tournaments after having like you know such a heavily like widely panned conversation about netcode. Oh, it's
right.
expensive to put in rollback netcode, but here's all these online tournaments we're gonna run.
We're
Like,
going to run
it seemed really tone deaf.
on the same internet. Yeah, that's what people are saying. Like, they're not hearing us. They want to announce tournaments on the same net code that they currently have that we hate. And we're telling them just improve the net code and we'll be happy.
Yeah.
Improve the net code and we'll be happy. Um,
So that was a little tone deaf. I felt like.
yeah, and I just want to round off the other things about like basically the trailers and other announcements they made. Like I just thought it was weird, like DBZ, like for Arxis, like Tomiko, I'm trying to think, no, Hamiko, um, the director for that game, she wasn't even there, and like a lot of the things that kept circulating throughout the stream was like it was kind of last minute, like the event was put together kind of last minute, and not a lot of companies had like things put together in time. So a lot of that's why some announcements were just announcements for later streams. Like Street Fighter is gonna have a stream in August, like next week. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like next Friday where they're gonna actually show characters. They're gonna actually talk about season 5 and actually make actual announcements. To me, it was like okay, like I honestly, and then like other companies did that too. Like DBZ, they had one. Like I said, it was like Hamiko, and they even said like, you know, they didn't have anything ready, but there's something in August, and she couldn't make it because this quarantine's been rough on everybody, and she like gained weight, and she's not, not ready to go on camera. And like I was just like, what is going on in this stream? Like this person, like one of the devs, was just airing out all her dirty laundry. Right. I don't know like I thought with Japanese customs, but like shoot, she was just airing it all out. And he was about her. And I was just like, yo, if they really weren't ready, if a lot of people really weren't ready and they really want that many announcements, like, come on. There was only a trailer for Guilty Gear Strive. They showed Leo and the new character that's coming into the game. Um, bro, besides that and the Setsuka, like those are the real trailers, really. Like the Tekken trailer, I guess it was like season 4 announcement, but I mean, it was a season 4 announcement, nothing about characters or whatnot, and like implementations that they're adding to the game. I think overall, I think this event people were really expecting a lot, but didn't come out. They came out with less than what they expected. I think. I think it was dope that they did this to begin with. Uh, Now we kind of know where their thoughts are, like with the devs, um, for the like for Capcom, for Arc System and whatnot. But I think there's just conversations that just fell on deaf ears. Like there's just still like netcode. That's still gonna be an issue. Like I think that's still gonna be an issue. Um, the announcement they made, it could have been Twitter posts. It could have been like tune in August 5th when we have this stream. They use the stream to announce another stream. I don't know. I feel like the idea on paper, the roundtable sounded really really dope. I thought we were really gonna get something really really crazy out of it, but not really. I know devs were like, I want to do this again. Um, my advice I would say is like I wouldn't do this again unless you guys really had something to present. I mean, I feel like you guys all came together and like King of Fighters didn't have anything for King of Fighters 15. Like they only had like, oh, the team's been working. They unfortunately they weren't able to get something by this time. And then overall it feels like the idea on paper seemed really good, but it looked like they did not, according to them, they weren't fully prepared or it wasn't like thoroughly planned out, which is like, I don't think they should have just held off on in the first place.
Yeah.
I think that's my 2 cents on it all.
Yeah. So I um I don't know. I again we'll wait to see. I'm not like particularly like you know blown away by what I saw or anything. So um we'll just move on.
I know. I think at this point, it's conversations we already know about that we beat up, uh, and yeah, I guess we just in August, like in a week from now, when there's more streams, we'll keep you guys posted on those updates. So yeah, tune in for that. Street Fighter is having something around August 5th, August 6th. There's something also for DBZ as well. They're gonna also have more updates. Um, yeah, we'll keep you guys posted on those streams and whatnot when they come about. But let's get into music to kind of wrap things up. I know um, we did music. We definitely had some good topics we wanted to really get into. Um, I know with time being an issue, so let's just jump straight right into it. So, real quick, I don't know if you want to take um, where we want to start, either with Cole. Well, no, actually, no. Let's take a second to say a few words for Malik B. Um,
Definitely rest in peace.
yeah,
One of the founders of the Roots.
of the Roots, passed away recently, just this past week, at age 47.
Oh man, really
Yeah,
young.
man, not old at all, man. Not old at all, man. Not even barely hitting the his midlife, not even hitting 50, man. So
Yeah, man.
uh,
We gotta, especially in these times, we have to do what we can to make sure that we're on top of our health. With the C virus running around and it being more difficult to get into to hospitals and whatnot.
right, that's a big thing, because we need to be aware that because even though we're in quarantine and a C virus, um, everything else that was detrimental to our health or could kill us still could kill us. Yeah, so they didn't take days off or anything like that. So definitely just be more mindful, everybody, and condolences to his family, the Roots, um, you know, as a hearing about them and all the contributions they done to music, hip hop, and everything in between, the like, definitely want to take a moment and say a few words for them for Malik Beat. Uh, I guess for moving next thing on the table here, I guess we're gonna jump into Cole. Speaking about the NBA, so Cole's trying to join the NBA. I don't know how I feel about that. We talked about it. I still don't know how I feel about that because he's really trying to join the NBA. Like he's really trying to train and really be in there. Try to ball up with. He's trying to ball up against LeBron. That's all I'm hearing. I'm like, you potentially trying to put yourself face to face with LeBron.
I think it's like a bucket list thing where it's just like, yo,
Get dunked on LeBron is on your bucket list? That's nuts to me.
nah, playing in the league. Um,
Yeah, but that's essentially what's gonna happen.
Maybe. I mean,
That's gonna get memed for years to come if LeBron dunks on Cole on court. Bro, don't.
I mean, Master P was talking about it, and he's just like, it's not easy to get into the league, even though like he might actually be able to get into it based off of like who he is or whatever. But they're gonna expect you to perform at the highest level. You know what I mean? Like you Master P was like, yeah, you can't miss a shot, like none of that stuff, because they ain't gonna let you live it down. Compared, even if there's like complete bums on the team and you're better than them, like because of who you are, they're not gonna let you live it down. You know what I mean?
He's playing a dangerous game. I think
I support
like
him doing it though. It's like
true, man.
he may not be trying to like go for a championship or nothing, but it's probably something that was on his bucket list where it's like, yo, I always wanted to play for a team in the NBA, and like, what's the harm in going for it?
Right. And I mean, I guess it just depends on what team. I mean, yeah, what team and what capacity. Like, is he trying to be in the
Probably
starting lineup? Is he trying to sign for like a year and then be like, I did this. Check.
He'll probably get down with the Hornets. You know what I mean? Play for like a season. He might come
It
off
would
the
be
bench
the
a couple of
Hornets.
times and stuff like that. But I mean, my man dropped his own basketball sneakers with Puma, so I think
He's trying to get his own jersey to go with the Pumas, man. I see. I see what he's doing. He's trying to have a cold jersey.
I think it's cool, like using your influence to help you achieve other stuff. Like a lot of people say, like especially like in hip hop, it's like, yeah, once you make it as a rapper, like you're supposed to graduate onto other stuff. And like maybe for him, it's just like, yo, I want to try to get in the league. Master P did it. Why can't he? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's mad players in the league that want to rap. Why can't a rapper go over there and play some ball?
Because we all know it never ended well for much of I
He got
say
it in.
I mean no for the basketball players going into rap or going to their music career.
Oh,
That
Damian
has
Lillard
a
out here rapping.
Kobe? You want to bring Kobe in? Yo.
I said Damian Lillard, but Kobe had some. Shaq had his.
Bro,
Shaq had a song with Big.
this is why they stuck to their day jobs, all right?
Man, Shaq had a song with Big. Shaq was rapping at one point.
Shaq, yo. See, and that's the thing. Now, when you say it that way, I'm just thinking like, damn, like you can't take that away from Shaq. He really had a song with Big.
Yeah, man. Like everybody, it's
Notorious himself.
romanticized in black culture. Like rappers want to be athletes, and athletes want to be rappers. Like, go for it. Like the worst is gonna happen. You don't. But he won't live with the regret of being like, oh, I never tried. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just worried. I'm just worried because of his reputation. Like, no, it's just like you said. Like nothing's gonna get overlooked. Like nothing's gonna get overlooked. He's already in that position now. Can you imagine if he'd be like in that position on like in the NBA, and especially when like think about how it makes like other people. I mean, it might mean make some people feel a type of way, and I mean, I'm not trying to say it to come at Cole. I think just that's just how it is. Life, like people want to be like, bro, like I've been playing ball since I was like 8 years old, trying to get into this league, and this like bum ass Cole wants to come up here and join the league just willing like I did to them, it might like just because, he's a rapper, he could just join the league when
I
like
mean,
I've been working my ass all my life to join the league and I don't get into the league. Like hey,
I mean,
haters exist in all types.
everybody got their own path to get to where they're trying to go. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I think Cole balled in college and stuff. So it's not like he just coming like
This
out
is
of
not a pickup
nowhere.
game, bro. He's trying to play the NBA. That's why I want to make. That's why I'm
Yeah,
worried.
but
I'm
I'm
like, I hope
sure,
he's
like,
ready.
I mean, he'll get a tryout. He might get on G League or something, and then they might move him up if he's doing nice. Like, you know what I mean? Like, not everybody has the same path. Like, even like us, like if we were still hooping like that, we could essentially try out for Celtics, G League team or whatever, get signed to them, work our way up onto the roster. Whereas someone else, had played their whole life, went to college, played 4 years, and then got recruited. Like, there's no one set path to the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean,
The only difference,
I say in
like,
all sense.
people will entertain it a bit more because he's Cole rather than like Joe Schmo.
True. So that's the one I hope the
Niggas,
misconception. I just hope this is actually something. If he says he wants this, then if he wants this, then power to him.
yeah, niggas will be
It's
all right.
just yeah. Like I can't knock a guy who's just trying to reach their dream. I just know for some people, it's just like I mean, it'd be dumb to say they blame Cole as their reason for not getting to the NBA, but I know people that they won't feel too pleasant about the fact that like you know, especially them not if they don't get into the league, or there's someone who's aspiring to get into the league, and then you have Cole. I'm not saying he's gonna be a shoo-in, but like because of his influence, it lets him kind of get a better foot in the race. Um, and I feel like it's even like because even current players might even feel a type of way. They might even try to out shine on them in the court. Like I'm telling you, dog. You think it's gonna be a day it's gonna be a day to remember when you see someone dunk on Cole, especially if it's like Vince Carter type of savagery. Like that's not like that doesn't get erased. Depending on those type of dunks, bro. I just hope Cole's ready because people aren't gonna hold that to him. I think I'll leave it on that though. For me,
We'll, what I mean, we'll let the bull rock. Like, let him rock. You feel me?
damn, they
Like,
about to dunk on Cole, bro. You okay with it? Damn, bro, he
if
about
he
to.
wants to get dunked on, that's on him. Like, let him rap.
Uh, man, I'm trying to look out for Cole, bro. Man, about to get dunked on, dog.
Let
You
him get
crazy?
dunked on. Like, it is
Man.
what it is, young.
All right, man. Damn. Well, I guess this we should wrap. So we'll wrap up this episode with I guess with Logic. It's just gonna be we're just gonna be talking about Logic to wrap up this episode. Um, so how do you want to do this? So do you want to get into
Well, how'd you feel about the album?
the album? I took this week. I took like this week. Yeah, I practically took this week to listen to the album this whole week. Like I literally listened to the album front and back. This week, I it's a good album. It's a good album. I all right. I want to start with saying I like the album. I think it's a good album. I think he put together a good piece of work. Um, I'll start there. I think No ID went off. I think he definitely produced. Uh, no, yeah, No ID definitely showed what happens with when a good producer and an artist, especially if an artist they already worked together to create gold, that they could do it again. Or it just shows like when you have a producer that understands you as an artist as well. I think uh I think Logic wanted one of his goals was to drop a good album that was him, and with No ID's help, he did that. That expressed him who he was, and I'll start there. I'll start there. What do
Uh,
you think?
I did like the album too. I only listened to it once though. Um, I I'm conflicted if I want to listen to it again. And the reason why is one, I didn't like he was rapping, but like I felt like there was nothing really behind what he was saying. Like for someone that was retiring, I wanted him to go out with a bang. And I didn't feel like he did it with this one. Like lyrically. Like,
Hmm.
production was cool. But like I always imagined the way I retire is like something like almost like on Black Album, Jay-Z Black Album kind of, what I mean, where like you lay everything out. And I think Logic's take on that kind of was just like, hey, you know what? I spent so much of my time, caring about, what other people thought of me that it drove me crazy. So now I'm just going to retire and be a dad, which isn't bad. But like, I think the music was tainted a bit by his his need for acceptance. Like I felt like, especially in the past couple albums, like the only person that name drops more than Logic is the game, and it's
Yeah.
literally because like Logic has his need to be accepted by these people. Like he's talked about Kanye so much in that album. He's talked about Drake, and like even when he was on stream crying, he's like, "Oh, I want to thank Kanye and Drake and Cole." Like people that don't acknowledge him, like not to be rude, like don't like publicly acknowledge him and stuff like that. While like Logic is a good MC and like he puts together good music, it's just like I felt like what's holding him back is that he cares too much about what people think. He cares too much about acceptance. And I
No,
felt
and that's true. I totally agree. I was actually surprised you went to that. That was gonna be like my like uh the cons. I was waiting till we yeah, okay. All right, all right, all right.
yeah, no, I can't like I like the album. It's well produced and stuff like that. I felt like the song where he was like rapping about a day in his life being a dad was like I felt like it was a little corny, but like I get it. Like this is your new life, and this is stuff that you want to rap about. I just felt like he could have done it a bit cooler. Like, um,
That's logic, man.
it felt real like Weird Al Yankovic kind of when he did that. But in general, like I don't think Logic has grown from that need to, you know, um, be accepted by people still. Like
Hmm.
I think, like he gets to a point where he talks a bit about like, like God and like religion and coming to terms with that. But I still think, he has that that need to be accepted by people. So even like when he came out and said that, like like Joe Budden's words could drive someone to suicide, it's like he's like the only person that got bothered by what Joe Budden says. Everybody else says "fuck you," said Joe Budden, or like understands that Joe Budden is like a sensationalist in a sense where like he puts a lot of sauce on stuff because like it's entertainment.
Yeah. That's another okay. All right. So he that so the thing, especially with the thing with Joe Budden, because for me, I recently read that about his comment on like basically, yeah, he said Joe Budden's words could drive somebody to suicide. Could drive, basically referring to uh Joe Budden's comments to Logic in the past, because they already had this type of relationship where like Joe critique Logic's albums and just critique Logic as a whole. Uh, and yo, it says something. No, it does say something when, you know, knowing their history, when Logic does like say something like that, especially after his recent album, especially with Joe Budden, like what he had to say about Logic after releasing this album. He, you know, he was just like, you know, like I take back some things I said, and he was just like, just to, you know, like I don't want to, like I could, you know, he said I, regardless of how I feel, he's like, you should feel um, you know, you're retiring. Like that's a time that is personal. It belongs to you. I don't want to like impede or say something because he's like that's not my place. Because he's just like, yo, I had my time, and my when I retired, I had my chance to, you know, bathe in that spotlight or just, you know, live in that moment. And he's like, I don't want to, like that's a precious moment as an artist. So he's like, yo, he's like, Logic, you deserve that moment and you should enjoy it, like, you know, enjoy it for you and whatnot. And I know Logic, he, like, I watched some interviews too. I saw his interview on Hard Knock TV. I watched like a good half of that interview on like when he was talking about the album. And like, yeah, like he brings up all the time now. I think he says he's more comfortable with it, about the fact that like his need for acceptance and um you know how he'll be able to live the life of going out to sold out shows in arenas, and yet, you know, someone online could say one thing about him or write something and it could like ruin his day. It could like ruin like that feeling for him, or it could just, you know, it could just end up being the one thing he just thinks about, and this like harps on, despite like his success, right? His like glaring success, like that part still bugs, like it's still something that gets him down. And yeah, and I think that need for acceptance, it showed on the album. Um, yeah, it showed on the album because I know one of the things he did mention early on in the album. I think this was even on the day of he had the album launch party on Twitch. Um, we talked about the other episode. It was also the fact that um, he mentioned, like, he made it clear. He's like, oh, like these in the album beforehand. He's like, oh, these are the artists that heavily influenced the tracks, the albums themselves, the album itself, and da 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 da, all that, all the above. And then people will go and just be like, when you hear some songs, yeah, it does sound like. I'm like, he literally sounds like, you know, like he's like Snoop Dogg. Like this is like very similar, like the cadence and everything to Snoop. He had songs that had him. He sounded like Mac Miller. I know we brought that up. I'm trying to think. Was that Man I Is? Like, he had tracks that, you know, related to like, you know, related with him on the same uh wavelength as Kanye. And he said these are just how I show homage to the people that influence like my you know, my artistry, my music. And he's
Yeah.
just like, that's you know,
So the problem with that I've had is that
yeah.
when you go so many albums doing that, you lose who you are.
You think he's
So
done that on every album till now, or he did it on more?
no, I think a lot of the criticism for Logic is that, like, you know, he didn't. A lot of people don't know who his like identity is per se. Like as far as like, oh, well, he'll do the harmonizing like Drake, or he'll do this like this person, or he'll do that like that person. But nothing like his style uniquely is his. I think his aesthetic and his means of storytelling is like through his albums. But you know, when you're chasing acceptance, it's like, think of it this way: it's like you when you want to fit in so bad, you don't hold on to your individuality. Or it's like, oh yeah, like I want to be accepted by Kanye, so I want to sound like Kanye. I want to do what Kanye does. I want to be accepted by Drake, so I want to sing like Drake, and all. You know what I'm saying? Like and that's kind of been my issue with the past couple albums because it's like what would normally feel like really dope moments for him working with people felt like he was just like trying so hard to be accepted by them. Like when he did the joint with the Wu-Tang, like that should have been like an epic moment. But for me, it's just like, yo, it's just like you seem like you wanted to be down with them so bad. Like when he did the song with Eminem, same thing. It's like, yo, this could have been an epic moment had you not like idolized this person and showed up like you're trying to rap. Like, you come on it like a fan.
Mm.
And like at some point, like yes, it's cool to acknowledge who's influenced you, and it's cool to be a fan of someone, but you have to be able to separate the two. And I felt like Logic has blurred those lines so much that the criticism he gets sometimes is often kind of warranted because it's like, yo, like not many people get to do songs with Eminem, and you do one, and it's very clear that you've cut yourself out as a fan rather than like a fellow MC. Because yes, he's rapping on there, but like even like with the hook and stuff like that, it's like, yo, like, come on, dude, like we could do better than
Mm-hmm.
that as an artist.
Yeah.
So when people give these criticisms and stuff like that of Logic, um, some of them are valid, but others are kind of like, at some point, you're talented enough, there's something about you that got you to this point and you just need to brush it off. Like if you're selling out arenas and then like, getting upset over like one comment, and that may not be like the truth, but he's just saying in general, then there's something internally that you need to analyze, which I'm sure he realized in the process of coming to the decision to retire, um, that needs to be fixed. Because again, like in the age of the internet, you know, anybody can say anything they want under the veil of anonymity.
Get
Anonymity.
caught.
God. So you know, you have to find peace within yourself. You have to, be able to brush off that kind of stuff because it don't matter if you're Logic or anything else. Like, with all this stuff that's going on, like, Me Too and like false allegations about stuff like that. Like, bro, people are like self-deleting over stuff like that. And, the way to combat that is being really, reinforcing yourself. Like, meditate, take time away from social media. Like, stop giving this stuff so much power. Like, like if I'm Logic, I'm making millions off something I love, and somebody's like, "Oh, Logic, like you suck." I'm like, cool, but I'm doing what I love for a living, providing for my family, and I could ask for nothing more. I'm like I don't care what you think because like, if you want to get down to it, I'm like, you're probably working a job that you hate for someone else, not doing what you want, wasting your life and your talents while like, I'm doing what I want.
That was literally a song. Like that's literally in a song he made. And I think like yeah. No, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, I think it's strange how uh the fact is like Logic could put so much he achieved much in his music career in terms of just like bodies of work he dropped, um albums. I think it was a uh credible true story ever told. Like, did that go gold? Did I go plat?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I might just say, I might just look it up. Like, and I think,
Yeah, Incredible
yeah,
True Story went gold. Same with
and
Under
then
Pressure.
everybody went plat.
Yeah, everybody went plat.
Oh wow, I did not know everybody went plat.
Yeah, I liked that album. That was a good album.
And in his interview, it was surprising. He said people didn't like his like people gave him a lot of flack. And so that's what I wanted to. I mean, you're one individual, but like for you, I know you always have words for Logic because you always, you look at him first as an artist before looking at like his music, and kind of because that in itself affects, like reflects and affects his music, reflects and affects his music. Yeah,
Um, I liked everybody because um, the direction it was going, like musically. I think they experimented like with different kinds of sounds and stuff like that. Like that was the same one that had like Black Spider-Man on it and stuff like that.
yeah,
So I think that was showing growth, and I felt like if he would have stuck kind of in that um, direction, that'd have been cool. Now, I mean, people give him crap for like the suicide hotline thing, but aside from that, like it was a pretty good album.
yeah. Like yeah, no, I no, I did like the album. I was, yeah, bringing it back to No Pressure. Um, calling it, especially calling it No Pressure, uh, in response to his, um, yeah, in regards to his first album, um, Under Pressure.
Well, it's really quick to interject because I know we
Yeah,
have to wrap up too, but
yeah,
some of the criticism for everybody, which is valid, was um, kind of what I was saying. The whole thing about trying to be accepted so much, where it's just like, you know, people have trouble determining like, is he writing from like his own point of view, or he's like writing as someone else, like, which is why like, you know, to the point where it's like, oh, there's songs, that Kanye inspired this, so he sounds like Kanye in this one. You know what I mean? Like Logic kind of just for a while, it just felt like Logic just kind of assimilated with whoever was on there, where with most other people, you know, they're going to do them regardless. Like, so look at like Logic and Joyner Lucas, because that was a beef for a while. Joyner Lucas
mm-hmm.
looking at a song with Eminem, and he's Joyner. Logic did a song with Eminem, he's Eminem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, yeah, and I think that's like that's Logic, and that was comes with the individual. It's just like I guess it's hard to separate because it might something that comes into him himself as an individual, and that's something he can't separate himself as an individual from as an artist. Like, and I mean, I just want to go into that a little bit, before we wrap up, but also into about the album. um like he tried to do, yeah, like you said, he tried to do a lot of things. Like he tried to do like he tried to, like, for his last album, he tried to take time to once again, like, have a track or commemorate like the artists or people that influence his style. And I even, like I said, I know on Twitch he made a comment on that. He's like, yeah, like, because these people like influenced, like, where like my me growing up on hip hop, all that. So of course, like, that's just, like, that's where I come from, that's where I came from. Like, that's, he said, for him, he's just like, that's how he came to know hip hop. And then, like, and it's even in one of his interviews too, with the Hard Knock TV, his recent interviews there, and he made a reference to J. Cole's Middle Child, and he sees himself in the middle, with Cole in that stream of artists. Like, you have the OGs like Jay, like Jay the Kiss, like you'll have like, I mean, you go further from there, like Wu Tang, like, Nas, like those type of rappers that are like the grandfather. He's like, right, he sees them as the grandfathers. Like, he'll put himself, Cole, um, yeah, like Kendrick, Drake, like, those artists, they're like the parents, and then you have like the new school like artists you have now, yeah, they're this generation of like hip hop. And like he puts himself in the middle, like along with Cole, like, and um so like that gave that gave me a better perspective when, because I listened to the album, then I saw some interviews and stuff. Um, and yeah, he tried to do his own first his own retirement album. You know, he tried to do his own 444 kind of like some in his own way. Like he tried to make it write stuff about things that he cared about, even if it was just, commemorating or giving a shout out to somebody else for acknowledgement that he always done. And maybe him like doing dad bod, like this, that was the song you were talking about, him going to the store, got to buy change of diapers for his kid, and he's like he's high as fuck or whatever. Um, like that was like his own like logic way, like yeah, like the corny logic way of just like letting you know like rap is not like my life anymore. And then like, like he's like, yo, yeah, he's like, fuck hip hop, like, like he be always saying like, so he tried to do his own 444 album
Yeah,
while also at the same time made tracks to like solidify himself in terms of his lyricism, like his flows. Like he literally has a song like 5 hooks. That's just for the sake of like showing his multiple flows. And like, I mean, I'm like, shoot, Drake does it all the time. I'm like, you can have a song dedicated to hooks and other people's styles and stuff like that. I'm just like, Drake does it for a career. Like, I mean, like, you know, it's not. I do agree with you. I think Logic is too hard on himself. Um, but then again, as an individual he has his own problems, like we all do.
I feel
But
like as a rapper though, and I want to say this really quick before we stop. Like, I just feel
yeah,
like as a celebrity and stuff like that, like if you want to enter the entertainment industry, um, you need to really evaluate what that means. And I think, um, aside from, like, oh my gosh, I get to do my music. It's like, yo, like, you know, you have to evaluate the good and the bad of everything. It's like, yo, like, yeah, the people might not like my shit. Like, people are gonna talk shit on the internet. All that kind of stuff, like that you need to take into account before you do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a major decision that you need to make when you try to enter this kind of like that kind of lifestyle. Because it's just like, yo, like as easily as you can tweet about like your favorite celebrity or about say like Donald Trump, like you get that kind of platform, people are going to do the same to you. So you may get 1,000 like, oh yeah, this album was amazing, and then just get like the nah, you suck. And like, are you are you really going to let that ruin your day? Are you really going to let that ruin everything you've accomplished? Like, it's just people. I think people just
yeah,
don't know or like prepare themselves for that kind of stuff, and the internet has made it like the barrier of entry to be like famous or a celebrity way lower than it's ever been. Like, you can get a viral video today of like doing the worm on like an airport conveyor belt or something, go viral, and now you're famous, and you don't know what to do with that now. Look at Boom Gang. My man spiraled out of control. Now he, changed his name, but still all these face tats and stuff. Like, people just, you have to be ready for this kind of stuff. Like, if you're going to get into it, you need to know everything that you're getting into.
and I mean,
Aside from that, though, I did like
no, you're
how
right. I think it does when you go into that direction. I think some people sometimes they don't even know where it is going to take them, right? Is it sometimes you just put out like you just make music, and sometimes you're like, yo, I really just make.
I think he froze again. You okay? Let me make sure it's not my internet.